Welcome to our webinar, How to Start an Online Radio Station. My name is Nicole. I'm the VP of Growth here at Zeno, and I've been working in the radio industry since 2009. So can everybody type on the chat where you are tuning in from today? It can be your city, your country. I would like to see some flags. So I know, so I have Uganda, for example, Brazil, New York, Glasgow, Chile, London and from Lewisham, Guanajuato, Mexico, Haiti, Italy, Venezuela, the DR, South Africa, Argentina, India. Another one, oh no, Uganda. That's true. That's Washington. That's you. Okay, that's good. Dallas, Georgia. So that's fantastic. Amazing. So I like to welcome you all. Poland, I think. Um, Thank you everybody for joining today. I really appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us for a little bit. So this webinar will be in English only, I'm afraid, but we will create a Spanish version in the next month or so, and hoping to do a version in Portuguese as well in the future. So thank you. It will be recorded, so you can watch it again as well. And I'll tell you a little bit about me before we start. So I started out producing and hosting radio shows, selling FM airtime. Then I moved into podcasting. I've produced hundreds of music-focused podcasts and episodes. In the UK, I volunteer in community radio stations in Bristol. And well, I was already deep into radio before I even finished university. So today I work in Zeno. Of course, I work with broadcasters around the world, helping them go digital, grow their audience, and make revenue from their content and for themselves to sustain the radio station. So it is an honor for me to host this webinar today. I'm sure that other ones will be coming up in the future with different members of the Zeno family. You'll see a Q&A section in the chat, by the way, everyone. So you have the chat, and you also have another tab, which is the Q&A section. Feel free to drop your questions there at any time during the webinar. We'll dedicate the last 15 minutes or so to answer as many questions as we can. I see at the moment we have another one coming in. So you can just place them all there. And as we progress and move forward today, you're going to find also that Bertrand, who is part of the Zeno team, is going to be answering some questions in the chat as we go. Okay, so let me just move to the next slide to give you a quick introduction about Zeno. I want to go real quick through this so we can get right into the topic that we came here to discuss. So Zeno is an audio streaming company. We offer a variety of services for audio broadcasters all over the world. Whether you're a solo creator or a full media network, our platforms help you broadcast, distribute, monetize, and grow your content. At our core, we provide audio streaming. So we are a very audio focused company. We also support podcasts, of course, on-demand shows. That means recording straight from your live stream and publish it as a recorded show for those who have live broadcasts and they have very popular segments of their live programming, live and historical analytics, radio automation. We, of course, help you monetize with programmatic audio ads, so you can earn from your content without needing to sell the ads yourself. Although, of course, you can sell your traditional programming as any traditional radio station will do. And we make those through connections that we have with global ad networks to make that happen. Okay, good. So again, this is very quick. I'm going to try and be as quick as possible. So our platform is home to 40,000 broadcasters in 90 languages. We host everyone from all backgrounds, online creators, traditional AM, FM radio stations, independent shows, commercial networks, multinational brands, everybody. So the nature of Zeno is that we are very multicultural, and our broadcaster base reflect that. We just saw it when we came in, and we saw everybody coming in from complete different parts of the world. So we're present across the US, which is where Zeno is from, by the way. Zeno is a New York-based company. Latin America, we have a very strong base of Hispanic broadcasters. We're in Africa, South Asia, Europe, and beyond. And our team is also very multicultural. We have almost a rep in every single one of these regions. So whether you're big or small, you can be tech savvy or you're just starting out, which I think these webinars for people starting out and wanting to know how to create a station. We can do that for you. We have a place for you here at Zeno. I see in the questions, by the way, some people saying that they want the webinar in Spanish. We will host this webinar in Spanish as well in the future, but today the webinar is only in English, but I'll promise you we'll get there as well. So this is who we are. We just don't host your content. We help to distribute it to. The station can be placed on Zeno.fm. There is a discovery website with more than 1 million visitors every month. We also have the mobile version of that website, which is the app Zeno Radio. It has 42,000 downloads, and we basically do this to help broadcasters be present on the web, especially when you're small and you're starting out and you don't have the resources to build your own website, to launch your own app. So you basically leverage off of the products that we already have to help you distribute, to help you with your SEO and discoverability amongst potential audio content listeners out there. Of course, you can stream your station using your own website or using your own app, or even third-party directories as well. So our stream is compatible with most aggregators out there or content discovery websites, such as a very well-known one will be TuneIn, Radio Garden, you name it. There's many out there. And most of them use the Zeno Stream URL for your station, and your station will be available on their sites too. And for on-demand or podcast, we're also compatible with Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc. So you get visibility across platforms, and this helps you drive potential new listeners. And your stream URL is the key to your content, and you can use it wherever you need visibility. Okay. So we come to an important part of the webinar now, which is how can you become an online radio broadcaster, right? So remember to leave your questions in the Q&A section. So we'll do our best to answer them. Those that we can answer in the moment, you can definitely get in touch with us later on, and we'll follow up that conversation, take it on a chat. So there's 5 steps that we can follow very easily. So this is mainly for those who are starting out. They don't really have much knowledge of what to do if you want to have your own station, your own online radio station. So these are the 5 steps, but don't worry, we're going to go through each one. So step 1 is you need to start with the foundation. The foundation is essentially the idea. So what is your station all about? Who is it for, right? Are you doing talk radio? Are you doing music? Are you doing interviews? Are you doing a faith-based radio station? Are you a news broadcaster? Or maybe you're simply a DJ and you want a station to do live DJ mixes, or to invite your other DJ friends to just take over and have a music mix radio station. So it really depends. That is the first step to take. Take half an hour a day, however long it takes, and write down all of your ideas. Who are you broadcasting for? I think that's the most important thing. You need to choose a name that reflects exactly who you are. It could be genre based, it can be local to your city, or it can be something playful. So for example, if you play regional music and you are playing Mexican regional music and you are from the state of Chihuahua, you can call your station um, La Ranchera Chihuahua, for example, right? It has to be something that when people hear your station name, you know exactly what they are getting. And this is the instant thing that attracts people um, to tune into your radio station. And of course, with that, it comes planning your schedule too. So you need to build regular shows to build listener habits and loyalty. If you have a show that is 9 to 11 a.m. and it's a very specific show with a potential host that could be popular, being consistent with that slot allows the listener to come back every day to listen to your radio station. So again, thinking about what is it that you want to make your station about and who will be listening, you need to put together a schedule to fill that. The better the content, of course, and the most original it is, instead of just making playlists, that will attract a more loyal user base. Let's go to step 2. Building your identity. So branding helps people recognize and connect with your brand, with you immediately. So obviously you want a good station name that we just talked about. You also want a logo. So when people see your station, they might know already what your station is all about by simply reading your station name and looking at the logo. Let's say it's a rock radio station and you have, I don't know, you may have a black and white logo and you have skulls, or you have something that is very traditionally linked to rock and roll culture, people will know that what they're in for, right? So I think that is key. In the description of that station, it could be the slogan. For example, we have a very popular station in the UK that says everything that rocks, and you know automatically you're going to get rock music hits. So I think that's also um, part of your brainstorm process. And we have a sonic identity. A lot of the times we don't even think about a sonic identity, and we are broadcasting radio, we're doing audio. So the visual, yes, is important, but the sonic identity is key. So think of the Netflix tadam sound. So can anyone, if I ask you to think about the Netflix sound, can you hear it in your head? Do you know how it sounds like? Can you remember it? So if I play it now, would you be able to, does it trigger something for you if we play it? Right? So you automatically know. It's almost like it takes you to a place where, oh, yesterday I was having dinner and I was watching my favorite show on Netflix. So that same emotion is what audio evokes. So having a sonic identity is really key. So let's take another example. It's just because I want you to feel um, exactly what I mean. So, and I say feel, not even hear, because the emotion comes right linked to listening to it. So another example of a sound logo or a sonic logo is the McDonald's. And McDonald's is obviously international. And for some of you, the I'm loving it will be in Spanish, will be in Portuguese, will be in other languages, right? So you hear the sound logo and then you feel the gap. So let's make an example here. Me encanta. I said it in Spanish. But for people living in English speaking countries, it will be I'm loving it. So this is why it's so important for you to define your sonic identity. So that means jingles, intros, station IDs that can make your show sound polished, or your station and professional. So radio is about the emotional connection with your listener, and radio is a very intimate space. You are in listeners' ears, you're directly connected with them, there's nothing in between you. So it helps to create those memorable moments. There are many ways to stream. So today we're going to talk about how to do it with Zeno tools, of course, because is the platform that we know the most and we can guide you through. But obviously there are many audio streaming solutions out there, and you can choose the one that is the most relevant to you, and that it adapts to the station that you're trying to create. So with us is very simple. You need to select the broadcasting tool. That means, what is that platform bringing to me? Do I need the ability to host many listeners at the same time? Do I need to have radio automation? Do I want monetization? Do I need music licensing? Do I need... So all of these questions, as you compare different streaming solutions, you'll know the one for you. So in the case of Zeno, it's very simple. You can create an account at Zeno.fm completely for free. So then you access the platform and you get an idea of what it's offered to you. And we also have a 7-day trial. So you can just go ahead and check out the starter plan without paying anything, and seeing if it's worth it and it's convenient for you. Once you've chosen a plan, for example, if you're starting out, the starter plan is more than enough. We really include a lot of capabilities and bandwidth and capacity to hold many listeners all at once. So it will be a very straightforward solution for you. So let's say that you've chosen the starter plan, you create your station, and then you're ready to go live. You have chosen a streaming platform, and then the question is, should I broadcast using cloud radio, which means you don't need any physical equipment, right? All you're doing is that you're uploading tracks, and you're uploading your music or your pre-recorded sounds, your talk shows, your podcast to the cloud. And then you can either leave it as a playlist, which in our case we call auto DJ, or you can choose, if you're in a more advanced plan like the Prime, for example, you can choose radio automation. And radio automation is essentially uploading the files to the cloud and then creating your programming. So you will be creating your everything 24/7, from Monday to Sunday. You may have different programming over the weekend, and you may have a Monday theme. For example, if you're mixing different formats, Monday can be top 40, and then Tuesday you can mix it in with a guest, for example, who is filling in for an interview. So it really allows you to do everything online without needing any equipment. So that is one way to start an online radio station, just doing everything digitally. And the second option will be going live, like AM FM traditional station with a studio would. And that means having your own equipment. That means having a microphone. That means having a mixer or a DJ controller, in case you're a DJ. And that's what you may be doing. You may want to mix live and send that audio and connect it to the Zeno server, for example, and broadcast live. So that is those are the two options. You will need, of course, a computer and an internet connection, because that's how you'll be broadcasting to the Zeno server. So it doesn't matter the setup that you have. You don't need to have such an exceptional setup as a traditional radio station, but you will need physical equipment, right? And if you do choose to go live, you will also need a software. So that software can be, for example, a free encoder like BUTT. BUTT, what it does is that it takes the sound that you're creating you're mixing in your laptop or in your computer, and it processes the sound, and it takes it to Zeno, right? It does that bridge between your laptop or your computer and the Zeno server, and it takes it out live. It uses what we call, well, I don't call it, it's just called an IceCast protocol to broadcast. And it's very simple to use. All it is selecting what your sound card is. In this case, it will be your external mixer, and that's it. It's automatically recognizing what you're doing. So those are the options. You need to choose whether you want to be a cloud radio cloud radio station, that means an internet only, I have no equipment, it's all on the internet, or if you actually want to have a studio style setup. Okay, remember, we can answer some questions at the end of the webinar. We are almost on step 4 now. What happens after you know your station name and your logo, and you have your jingles and you have everything? You chose a streaming platform, you created your account, you're set to go. You said, I'm either a cloud radio or I'm broadcasting live. Now I'm live. So what happens when you are finally on that step? So you need to get heard, right? So Zeno.fm and the Zeno radio app are, in our case, the standard places that we will help you to be visible, to be public. And you can use either a website or the app in case you don't have your own, to help you promote it and share it with people in your community. We share it with your potential listeners. If you do have a website and you do have your own individual app, you may not need this. You need to promote your own website. And for that website, we offer a radio widget player. So that means you copy and paste a code on your website, and you'll automatically have a player that is similar to the one that is here on the screen. So listeners, when they come to your website, they can play and stop your station. If you have multiple stations, they can change, for example, from a rock station to a top 40 station to a Hispanic Latin American station. It depends of what you offer, and they can follow you on social media and share your station, etc., etc. The other way for listeners to find you is through mobile apps. Obviously, the mobile content consumption has increased significantly since probably the 2010s. So we are actually been there for a little while. Being on mobile apps, it could be being on the Zeno Radio app, but it can also mean being on TuneIn. It can also mean being on another aggregator website. It can be your own app. So saying to your listeners, don't forget to download the app and listen to us directly. I am the promoter of the stations, having control over their own content. So if you do have the opportunity to have your own app, do it, because it's a direct connection with your listeners. You show what you display to them, they see your logo all the time, they see, obviously, they are connected to your live broadcast on your terms. So I think having your own mobile app really is an important step. You don't need it to get to start. For example, like I said, you can use the Zeno Radio app, but if you need to build your own app, we can help you with that. And if not, again, there are many app developers out there that you can use. The next one is a little bit controversial, because not everyone likes to be on directory or content discovery websites. For example, being listed on a radio.com website where they list a bunch of stations per country. So there are pros and cons to that. The pros are that these websites have a good, decent reach, and they have people coming into them every day. So they already have, let's say, the customers, right? They have the potential listeners there waiting to discover your content. So that is a pro. And the con is that you don't get to manage and control your content as much, because it's listed on a third-party website. It's listed external to you. You have no control if they are advertising around your content that is something that is inappropriate, or something it wouldn't go with your brand. So these are the limitations. So it is really a personal decision whether you want to be on these websites or not. But it's definitely part of the get heard strategy, to be distributed, to be heard from your potential listeners. And finally, of course, sharing your link on social media. Having social media is super important to get attention from people, to discover your content, go to your website, download your app. And the one that I think we do less and less every day, and me being in radio for a long time, I remember that we used to do a lot of broadcasts in in person. So we went out to the streets and we asked people questions. We went to businesses, sponsors, stores, for example, or we went to attend a local event to ask people how are they feeling, is the weather good or bad, like all of these. It really helps to create a connection with your local people, and we forget about this. Obviously radio can be very global, audio content can be global. Someone can hear you here in the UK, but they can also hear you in the United States and Africa and everywhere. But it's not the same being connected to someone locally and helping them send the message. So I think being local or highlighting things from your community, if you're a faith-based radio station, if you're a station that maybe is just fan of a particular artist, so anything that's very unique to you, try and maximize that, because distribution is key to growth, is where you get your station in front of as many ears as possible. And going into the last step, then we're going to go straight to our questions and answers. Thank you. So the last step is, revenue, money, right? So Zeno works with ad networks to match relevant advertisers to your content. So when a campaign matches your stream, matches what you're doing, let's say that we have an advertiser who is interested in, who is running an event or a festival, and you have a rock radio station, it is highly likely that that advertiser will want to be on your station, right? If you have good content that is relevant to them, they'll run a campaign on your radio station, and we do it through programmatic advertising. So how it works is that it can be either a pre-roll ad, and the pre-roll ad is the advertising that it's placed before your live streaming start. So it's the ad that you hear first, and then it goes live. It connects to your live streaming, right? So this is very similar as well to what you hear on when you go to YouTube and you have to see an ad before your content starts. If you don't have YouTube Premium, is the same thing. So that's programmatic advertising. In this case, it will be on audio mainly. And the second version is the mid-roll ad, and the mid-roll ad is the one that interrupts the stream exactly at your commercial ad breaks. So in this case, you'll hear a pre-roll ad, sorry, then the live broadcast, whatever you're broadcasting live, and then you'll hear the mid-roll ad. And the mid-roll ad is triggered when you cue to Zeno, this is my local or my terrestrial ad break. Please go ahead and insert ads. So we can do that. We have various methods to do that. So we have a jingle that you can sound, so you can play on your station and the sound will trigger mid-roll ads. We have metadata, which is a very straightforward option. The name of the track that you're playing will tell us if we should play ads or not. We have schedule ads, which are, you just say every half an hour, please just play 2 minutes of advertising, for example. And the last one is using AI. So we have an AI system that attempts to identify when you are on a local ad break and we decide to insert advertising. So mid-rolls are really important because it helps you maximize your earnings. So it is really key for you to have them. And my recommendation to you is, if you are currently a Zeno broadcaster or you will become one, to please message us to help you set up mid-roll ads on your terms. You tell us when you want those ads to be inserted. And the easier ways are using a jingle. So every time you play that sound on your station, a very unique sound, we will play ads. In Spanish, they call it a tone, un tono, or metadata. Very, very simple. So those two options, it helps you make money because every time that we deliver an ad impression so that a listener heard that ad, we count it towards a CPM, or every 1,000 impressions you get a sum of money that Zeno and you basically revenue share. So that is the revenue share model is typically 50-50. It depends on the plan that you're on or the specific agreement that you have, but as a standard, it will be 50-50. So doing that, Zeno's doing all the work. We deal with the agencies, we have the deals with the advertisers. So that lets you focus on your content. It helps you, monetizing helps you obviously fund your radio station. And as your audience grows, so can your income. So that is a wrap on our main presentation. That was 30 minutes. And now we're gonna go ahead to our Q&As. Okay, so let's go and jump into your questions. Give me a few seconds so I can go here. I think some people have upvoted some questions, so let's gonna start with those first. So I have 5 questions. Remember, if you have questions, please, instead of leaving them on the chat, get them on the question section, so it's easier to go through them. So what equipment and software I need for podcasts? My radio name is La Casa de los Infieles, and I need configuration link on my website. Right, so if I understand your question correctly, Rudy, you basically, for podcast is an on-demand type of audio content. So you can create and record everything. In this case, if you have a studio, you can do it there. Assuming that you're at home and you want to produce this content at home, you will need a microphone. You will need mixing, actually you can do a sound card or a very small mixing console. There are some mixing consoles that are like 4 input channels. They're very, very economical, or one of the most that you can get, I think from about maybe $50 or $60. And with that, you can connect it to your computer and record on free softwares like Audacity, for example. You record your podcast there and you will have to edit it. And depending on the plan that you're on, all the plans that we have in Zeno at the moment, they have access to podcasts. So that means you can, once you finish editing and creating your podcast, you can upload it to the Zeno platform, and we are hosting it for you. So the podcast is on our server, and you use the RSS feed that we have, that will be available to you on your platform, on your dashboard. And that RSS feed, you can use it for a podcast player on your website, and it will show everything that you upload there. So instead of being the live broadcast or streaming, you will be using an RSS feed to power an on-demand player that will play episodes of what you've been uploading to the server. At this time, Zeno does not have a podcast player. We only have a player for live radio, but hopefully we can get one in the future, and that will make it really easy for you to basically copy paste the podcast player for Zeno, put it on your website, and that's it. I hope that answers your question. I have another one. Does your monetization covers radio stations in Nigeria? So we do not cover music licensing. Zeno is simply your broadcasting platform. You will have to liaise and find your local organization in your country to pay music royalties whenever it's relevant. So if you want to stay away from that, of course, the suggestion is to use royalty-free music, and or focus on talk content or interviews or everything else that doesn't prompt you to having to pay for music licensing as you're getting started. So our music royalties are only covered on the Zeno.fm website. So that means everything that is played on our own website, so on your station profile on Zeno.fm, yes. If you have your own website and you're using Zeno as a streaming solution, no. You still have to find your own music license. So I hope that answers that. My premium station, so this is Sam, my premium station is up and running. Will we learn to monetize better? So the question for monetizing better, I think the key really is the size of your audience. And this is the thing that is difficult at the beginning, is learning how to grow your audience. Of course, the media world and internet is very competitive at the moment. There's a lot of content out there. But when you have a very, very small audience, it's difficult to monetize in a volume that is attractive, because programmatic ads, and I can compare this to the ones that are old enough to understand when we used to have, well, even nowadays, when you used to have banners on your website and you click on the banner and the pay-per-click sort of thing, and Google pays you for every 1,000 impressions or every 1,000 times things are played. This is the same with programmatic audio advertising. So, and it's not just in Zeno, this is in general. So you are paid based on a CPM, which is a cost per 1,000. So every 1,000 times that an ad gets delivered to your listeners, this is when you have the cost of the CPM, which in audio it can be anything from $1 to 10. So it really depends on the listeners, and on the location of the listeners, and on the type of campaign that is running on your streams. So it's hard to tell you a specific answer. So really the key is that you continue to produce really unique, good content and finding listeners to connect with. From that moment, either using programmatic or either you selling directly will definitely be the key or the door to better monetization. I have another one here. I'm a former subscriber of the plan with the scheduling feature, so I'm guessing that's the radio automation. It's quite confusing compared to competing services. I hope you could improve it. We are literally right now testing another solution for that, because we have got similar feedback that for people getting started, the automation software that we have at the moment, it can be a little bit complex. Even though we do our best to help you set it up, it has certain limitations for us as Zeno, and you can publicly, well, I will say Google it or ask ChatGPT or find more information about it. It's called LibreTime, and LibreTime is what we're using at the moment to it's like an extended software to Zeno. We didn't actually develop it, and we because of that we have certain limitations. So we are looking for an alternative solution for those who find it complex. So I appreciate your feedback. Someone else's nice presentation. Thank you. Do you assist with advertisers for the pre-roll and mid-roll? Hence, on our side, we are an MPO and depend on donations. Yes, we help you monetize with that. Again, it will depend on everything I mentioned before, where your listeners are, the type of content that you have, how the volume of your audience. But yes, we can help you monetize. And in case that you do not want any advertising on your streams because you're an MPO, because you do not allow advertising, you can remove ads from your stream. So that is also another option. So I hope that answers your question. So this other person says, I'm a Zeno user from 2012. I was working in government radio before. I base a basic classic problem. The content is so boring. Can you give me tips on how you handle the situation? Well, it depends if you are in charge of content generation or creation. Of course, there are many things you can do. I think that one of the most important ones is definitely listener interaction. Finding ways on how can you get people to interact with the radio station. Excuse me. It can be through phone calls. It can be through social media. It can be through giveaways. anything that you can find for that listener to be attracted to talk to you, regardless of what you're doing. That interaction is what really switches content. I was speaking to another broadcaster recently who takes live sessions on Fridays on his station to listen to people's problems and to give them not even advice, just like having a friend who can hear you out and talk about it. And the program is very popular. So that is an example. Listener interaction is key. Any special plans for educational institutions? Yes, we have 40% off forever for all of our plans. If you are an NPO, a non-profit organization, if you're in the education industry, you can benefit from that. So we give you basically 40, well, almost half the price, right? So 40% off. If you need to connect with us about it, please message us at the support at Zeno.fm email, and someone will help you with that. In fact, Bert on the chat will help you connect us as well. Connect with us, sorry. So let me see if I'm missing something. So this one is in Spanish, but it translates to, are you considering to include your own software to broadcast through Zeno Radio so the user can basically broadcast through our server? So at the moment, we don't have any immediate plans, but precisely this is why we're trying to use other alternative it's like a middleman software, right? Because if you think about it in this case, and every platform works different, but Zeno is designed for radio station broadcasting, traditional AM/FM. Recently, we have been trying to adapt to help our online only or online exclusive radio stations to broadcast as well. So we traditionally are set up that way. And the radio stations have all the equipment and everything that you need to broadcast, right? So this is why there are limitations on how to do it directly. At the moment, the only way to directly broadcast to Zeno is uploading uploading tracks or audio files to our auto DJ or using the radio automation software. So cloud radio, those are the two options, but it doesn't necessarily help you go live directly. Someone else says, I have BUTT. What equipment do I need to go live? If you want to broadcast using your own computer, so your own physical setup, you will need a microphone. You will need a microphone. You will need a mixing console. You will need potentially a sound card, and I think that's it. Probably, obviously, the cables that connect all of these together. So, a technical person might be able to help you more with this, and we can try and direct you to the specific information. Lady Classic, if you message us on support@zeno.fm, there are a lot of resources online to tell you how to set up the station. A radio station setup. But traditionally, this is what you will need, and sometimes the sound card is what becomes the problem, as most people can't connect something directly to their laptop and broadcast it live without it being professional. So the sound card becomes like an in between your microphone and where how you're mixing that sound and your computer for it to be able to read that language, let's say. So yes. Can I advertise for family and friends on the platform? I'm not sure what that question means. So if you can try and make it a little bit more, explain it again. Someone else says, Luis Valencia says, how do you upload the special audio file to identify the commercial ad break? So that you don't do it directly on the platform, by the way. You ask a member of the support team to help you. So if you have that jingle or that ID, that you want to use to trigger mid-roll ads, you will have to speak to our team using the email support@Zeno.fm and say, hey, I have a radio station that I want to set up mid-roll ads for using a jingle. And these are my jingles. And the jingles should be a minimum of 10 seconds of duration, so our system has enough time to do a full match. And once that full match is done, which normally takes less than that amount of time, then our ads will replace the live streaming with advertising. And I think this will be the last one as we hit 15 minutes of Q&As. And can we have different ID jingles ID triggers with different jingles? Yes, you can. You can have multiple IDs, so you don't play the same one all the time. Of course, we tend to recommend to keep it simple and not having 105, but more like, you can have anything up to around 10. That's fine, because it's obviously it's enough variety for people not to find it repetitive. So okay, good. I think that's our Q&A session all done.